All right, so let's go ahead and start picking up where we left off. I have already pulled in the latest from GitHub and synced it to our branch to make sure that everything is up to date and we're not going to be overwriting anything. And what I want to do now is like I said, we want to go into plan mode and we want to map out what we want to do. But what we want to do is before we pulled in, manually decided to go out and have Claude pull in the most recent videos that New York City Mayor Mamdani has posted to his various social media platforms. And now we want to make sure that we don't have to wait and monitor and see, oh, Mamdani posted a new video. I hope I caught it. And now I can go tell Claude to get it. So what I want to do is I want to set that up automatically. So we want to figure out if we can how do we set up some kind of monitoring or trigger automation that automatically pulls in new video content that New York City Mayor Mamdani posts to his social media accounts that we scraped during our last run through, and then runs them through that similar processing pipeline to analyze and return results and add it to our body of work. Okay, my voice to text got Mamdani here. We're gonna make. So it's as simple as that. We want to set this up. We're going to ask, how do we set this up? So we're on a new branch. We're going to go ahead and dive in here. So here we go. It's going to look at what we've already built. It's going to review the existing pipeline to understand what we'll be automating. And then we're going to have it go into plan mode and map this out. Let's make sure we use plan mode to map this out properly. It's gone ahead and it's read the code base. It's reviewed it. And now it's looking for the videos that we currently have and which platforms they came from. And there we go. It's accepted my message. And you see down at the bottom here, it has switched us over to plan mode. It's going to explore and design an implementation approach. All right, which platforms should the automation cover? YouTube and TikTok are more reliable. We already know that from last time. We had some trouble. The other three require Playwright browser automation. So for now, we're going to stick to just YouTube and TikTok because the other three are a little bit tougher. So how should the pipeline be triggered? Again, do we run it ourselves or it runs on its own every day? We want to run it on its own every day. So we are on Windows. So we're going to simply run Windows Task Scheduler. Which analysis method do we want? Keyword-based script is fast and free. The Claude API batch analysis gives much richer results, but costs money per turn. So we're going to try keyword-based only for now, because we're going to use this pipeline to sort of feed it to a manual queue that we can say, okay, we have X amount of videos that have been added to our digest here, and then we can manually trigger a run when we're confirming that we want to run it on those videos. And should the pipeline notify you when it finds or processes new videos? Yes, I think we should. So we're going to add a log file and a console output so we can review the past runs. Here we go. It's going to design the implementation plan. Claude has written a plan and is ready to execute it. Would you like to proceed? No, I'm actually going to tell Claude what to change. Instead of just putting a log file and outputs on my computer, on my local desktop, I want you to upload the log file to the Google Drive folder that I give you. And I'm going to give you a Google Drive folder from my account, and I want you to drop the new files and new information in that Google Drive folder. Okay. So it's asking for the Google Drive folder, but before we give it to it, it's proposing the short version, a single wrapper script update pipeline that chains together our existing download, transcribe, extract, analyze steps, but only for YouTube and TikTok. It logs everything to timestamped files. Then we hook it up to Windows Task Scheduler so it runs daily when your machine is awake. Now, Claude actually does have, schedules. You can create and update and run remote agents on a schedule. You also can do loops. So let's try the schedule one first. First, I'm going to go get a Google Drive file or folder. I've added this to my drive, and I'm going to call this folder. I'm calling this folder video analysis. Here we go, video analysis. And I want this. Oh goodness gracious! I'm going to put this folder here. I want to take this folder here, and I'm going to paste the URL here. But before we do that, I'm going to say, doesn't Claude Code have some form of / command that allows you to schedule and run remote agents? Look at that. Much cleaner approach. Instead of batch files and task scheduler config, we'd have a Claude Code remote agent that runs the download transcribe pipeline, uploads results to the Google Drive folder, reports what it finds. Now, this is running on Anthropic's machines, not ours. We'd still need our machine for the GPU-dependent Whisper transcript step. And now it's going to look into those scheduling capacities. So it's annoying because it's built into the tool itself, but it doesn't recommend that as the main tool. It's interesting. So we have two different scheduling machines. We have cron create. It runs tasks inside your current Claude Code session. This only fires when Claude Code is open and running, and after 7 days, it stops. So it's a timer. You have a week of running it. So if you don't open Claude Code or if you don't refresh it after a week, it'll stop. The second one is a remote trigger, which creates remote agents on Anthropic's cloud that run on a schedule even when your machine is off. This is the schedule command. The remote triggers run on your server, so they can't access your GPU for transcription. You can't run YTDLP, can't access your local video files. This is the same challenge or problem that we have when we do things in the browser window, in the chat window, instead of in the terminal. So it kind of defeats the purpose of what we were trying to do with this whole course. So right away, properly, we've got a hybrid setup here. A remote trigger runs daily to check for new videos using web scraping. If it finds new content, it uploads a report to your Google Drive folder. You then run the local pipeline manually, or we set up a local cron. Best of both worlds. I like that. I think we do a hybrid model. We sort of flip it. Instead of running it and scraping it here and uploading it to the folder for processing later, we get the alerts and the new videos that are incoming to that Google Drive folder, and then we see when there's a certain number there, we can go in and load it up and open it here. Now we're back in plan mode again. The Google Drive folder part is interesting and can be done one of at least two ways. We could set up an API where we connect it, we give it the Google Drive and Docs folder API on Google Cloud Console and go through that nightmare. Or we could just very simply open up Google Drive Desktop, install Google Drive Desktop or whatever you have, Dropbox. And since that automatically syncs local files and folders and streams them back and forth between Google Drive, it makes a lot of sense to me to just add that Google Drive, add that folder that we want. So we want to create a folder called upload, and we want to make sure that that folder is synced with Google Drive once this boots up. That seems like a really easy and simple automation to me, but I'm going to see what else it explores here. It seems like it's going to go the Google Drive API setup way. I already have that configured and all of my authentications already installed. We don't have a service account key locally, but we can grab one from my Raspberry Pi. That's a much more complex thing that I'm not going to show you how to set up now because we don't have time for it. But if you do want a simple way to get files that are on your local machine automatically added to Google Drive, it's pretty easy to do. All we do is make sure we make a folder and say it should be synced with Google Drive. It's not that difficult. And since I already have my desktop being synced with Google Drive, we can go in here, we can see my drive, it's already synced there. We don't really have to do anything other than start that Google Drive up, and all of a sudden, boom, this folder is syncing, and it's syncing with Google Drive. So why don't I go ahead and tell it, actually, I just remembered that I have Google Drive Desktop installed, and this folder is on my desktop, which is already set up to sync with Google Drive. So all we have to do is add files to that upload folder that I just put in our project directory, and it should automatically be synced to our Google Drive on the internet. Yep, just write the files to a local folder and Google Drive Desktop syncs them. And I'm going to give it the path to that folder right there. And there we go. We don't have to worry about credentials or any of that stuff. All right. And now here's the key thing here. They have yes and bypass permissions. They have a plan ready to go, ready to execute. Yes and bypass permissions. Yes, manually approve the edits. No, refine with ultra plan on Claude Code on the web. I've never done that. Probably never will. I'm going to say yes and bypass permissions. And there we go. We're back in bypass permissions mode. It's got a testing suite set up here, a dry run, a full run. And there we go. Okay, so it's gone through and it has given us a configuration here for the /schedule skill. And it's going to schedule a conversation. It's going to do a cron expression, basically, starting at 8 a.m. It will be in this repository. It will default to Sonnet, which is fine. It's a good balance. We don't need the Opus for every one of these, like I said. And it's going to go ahead and do a full configuration here daily at 7 a.m. and 12 p.m. UTC. It's going to allow these tools. And here is the prompt that will launch with this scheduled thing. You are monitoring New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's social media for new video content. Read the content JSON here, extract all known video IDs, and note the most recent upload date per platform. Use web fetch to check for new videos on YouTube and TikTok. Compare what you find against the known IDs in the metadata.json. Create the directory at monitoring if it doesn't exist, and write our findings to this file here, latestcheck.json. In this format, here's the JSON object. Then commit the report. If it has new videos, if it doesn't, it does this. Be concise, focus on facts, and then push a commit. That looks good to me. And now it's asking to fire the remote trigger now to test it or move on to testing the local pipeline. And of course, we're going to test the remote trigger now. We're going to see how this works, if it works. Okay, the remote trigger has been fired. It's now running in the cloud. A fresh Claude Code session is spinning up, cloning the repo and extracting the monitoring prompt. So when the trigger fires, Anthropic spins up an isolated cloud environment, a Claude Code runner, and it clones the repo from GitHub, starts this Claude Code session with the tools that we specified, and feeds it the prompt. The agent works by itself. It reads files, writes results, and it can push commits, not PRs, just commits, basically saving its progress. And at the next runtime, you will see that it's UTC 1211, not exactly 1207. And there is technically a little jitter in the docs. The system adds a small random delay to spread out the load across all users who have scheduled triggers. It runs asynchronously. It'll take a few minutes to complete, and we can access this ourselves by going to claude.ai/code and just clicking scheduled. There it is. We can add a new one here. We can schedule them ourselves. We can edit the scheduling. You could see the same thing if you use the Claude browser extension, and you can use shortcuts. So I can go to settings, I can go to shortcuts, and I can create shortcuts here. This is a / command. You give it a prompt. You tell it to schedule it when you want it to run. The date, if it's just once. If it goes to daily, you choose the time, choose the model, and then hit save. And then you can either trigger it automatically with the / command, or you can simply wait for it to run and it'll launch on its own. It's pretty neat, I gotta say. So, okay, we're back. So it tested it. It did the dry run. It works. Let's verify the log file was created. Let's see, the upload folder is empty. Read one file, everything's working. Here's what we built. Local pipeline, dry run configured. Okay, let's test the next phase. I don't see anything in the output or upload. All right, it's going to do the full pipeline. Hey, there we go. Look at this. We've got our analysis coming in. Since we have this as a public GitHub repository, what are some of the ways that we can use things like GitHub Actions or maybe GitHub Pages to get this up on the internet live and make sure that it's updated once a day? So GitHub is great for many things, but another reason it's great is because of GitHub Pages. Now, GitHub Pages is a free way to create websites from your code in GitHub. So we can see GitHub can serve your dashboard as a free public website. Where should it pull from? Let's do a web folder on the main branch. Anything that is in that web folder will be included. Boom, we're going to do that. For the GitHub Actions daily pipeline, how should we handle transcription? Free runners don't have GPUs, so Whisper can't run there. We can skip the transcription. We can do CPU Whisper, run it on the GitHub Actions runner. I don't want to do that. I'm scared of making GitHub mad at me, so I'm just going to have it skip the transcription in the actions. We'll do that here. How much of the pipeline should run in GitHub Actions? We're just going to have it monitor and deploy new videos and deploy the dashboard to pages. Actual processing still happens locally. It's least complex. Let's do everything except transcription. And now we're back in plan mode. And this is good. We want Claude to go into plan mode as much as possible or whenever it's necessary, because it's a good way to have it take a break, take a step back, and make sure we're doing this correctly. Okay, let's review this. It's a static site that loads JSON. Good. We're going to host it on GitHub Pages for free. We're going to run a daily GitHub action that checks for new videos, rebuilds the analysis, and deploys. We're going to skip transcriptions. We're going to do it locally and run everything else in the action. If I were doing this for real, I probably would just use the OpenAI or the Whisper API because it's really cheap. But I am not authorized to pay for anything right now, so we're not going to be doing that. It's a daily cron, a chronological job by a GitHub action. It's going to use YTDLP to check for new videos, update the metadata if a new video is found, rebuild keyword analysis from existing transcripts, commit the changes to master, and deploy the video analysis page to GitHub. Excellent. This is where the dashboard will live. And here we go. This is looking good. Here's the files it's going to create. This is the file that allows it to run these recurring scripts, the schedulers. Here's our new video Python script. It's a metadata only checker for GitHub Actions. Okay, no changes to existing files needed. We're not going to modify anything. We have new files after creation. Push the workflow, enable GitHub pages and repo settings. It'll trigger the action and deploy the site, and add a YAML to the repo settings if needed for pages. That looks good. Let's send it. And while that's doing it, I'm going to go back to GitHub, and I am going to set up the GitHub pages like it said. So, okay. So GitHub action workflows are structured like this. A workflow file lives in the .github/workflows folder, and it uses YAML or YAML format. So our deploy job has needs update, meaning that it waits for the job to finish before it deploys, and this makes sure that our dashboard is always showing the latest pages. First, you upload a directory, a zip file, then you deploy that artifact to the page's CDN. It's more flexible than the old serve from a branch approach because you can source files from anywhere in your repo. We're testing the commands. Okay, no false positives. Both platforms are working. All right, so we need to do two things. We need to push to GitHub. We need to commit and push all these files to the master branch. And we need to enable GitHub pages. Settings, pages, select GitHub actions, not deploy from a branch. And once that's done, it'll run automatically. So let's go ahead and do that. And we can trigger this we can trigger this manually anytime from the run workflow button. So this is good for testing. So let's go to GitHub here. Okay, I have enabled GitHub Actions in the repo, and I've created and merged the pull request with the changes. And there we go. It says it can't find that workflow. I'm not about to write some YAML myself, so I'm just going to tell it to write it. And we can see the remote trigger already worked. Let's see what it found, and then verify that the workflow file made it to master. It found 4 YouTube videos from December 2025 that were gaps in our original collection. That's good. So it's not just finding new uploads, it's finding uploads that were not in our original list, which is even better. It's now going to create a new PR with the changes. Yep. Okay, so we have our PR has been created. So we're going to go back to GitHub. We're going to go to pull requests. There it is. Add automated pipeline and GitHub pages deployment. Copilot is reviewing. This is a pretty substantial change. So we'll wait a few minutes and we'll come back here and say, sleep for 3 minutes and then check for Copilot comments when you wake up. And there it goes. It's sleeping. So we'll come back when this is ready and the Copilot comments are in and they've been reviewed and addressed, if anything, and we'll test to see if our GitHub page is live on the internet. And we see here that it's already woken up. 3 minutes has gone by. Let's see if Copilot's left any comments. And it's still running. Looks like Copilot needs another 3 minutes. And would you look at that? It looks like the comments are in. So we're going to actually cancel this. There's no background task running. We're going to say escape. Comments are in. And let's go check. Let's see what Copilot had to say. So Copilot generated 10 comments. Okay, that's a lot. Got some hard coding. Workflow commits and pushes to master. No longer includes total words. Okay. So it says that there are 10 comments. Some are solid catches. Others are nitpicks. We're going to go ahead and say fix everything that's reasonable. And we can see which ones it thinks are reasonable and then which ones it thinks are not applicable. Alrighty, all fixes are done. I'm just going to remove some unused variables here. Committing and pushing to that PR. It is now updating. We'll give it a refresh. There we go, 1902 to 1919. Scrolling down, we got some outdated. It has addressed the issues. We're going to merge this pull request, confirm our merge, delete the branch, come back here, and we can see here that we have some actions pending here. Update the dashboard and update push. I'm going to use our GitHub page as our GitHub page. And once this is done, we go to actions. Oh, we've got a failure. So as we said before, I'm just going to click here. I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to come back to our guy here, and I'm going to say, check it. It is protection rules. Oh, so we did. Okay. So we're going to remove the PR requirement. No, I'm going to have the action create a PR. So this keeps the PR branch protection rule in place. And because I have GitHub Copilot set up to automatically review my PRs, I will get, and I have subscribed to that, I should have emails in my inbox here, which I do anytime Copilot leaves comments. So I have a built-in automation that automatically notifies me when a new pull request has comments. And since a new pull request automatically triggers the Copilot review, I will automatically have comments and I'll get the email. So this is a sort of hacked together way of stacking automations that you already have, whether it's the Google Drive desktop method or it's the GitHub, Copilot PR auto review, PR automation, and then the GitHub Pages deployment and the automation of scraping. So you can see here, we have each automation does one thing, and it does that really well. And as we test and iterate here, we can see where the weak spots are, and then we can slowly tweak them and get them so that they're aligned, so that they're all working together in concert. Now it says the dashboard is live and working. Let's go ahead and see here if that's true. So we're going to change our GitHub page to this. If we click here, would you look at that? So now we have a live website that is auto updating. It's pulling videos every day at 8 a.m. We can search through our transcripts. These still don't do anything. We have our graphs, we have our charts, we have our comparisons. Not bad so far. Let's see how we're doing over here. Let's check in. Okay, dashboard's live. Here's how we stand. I'll go ahead and merge the PR, and then we should test the entire pipeline from end to end and consider any edge cases. It's going to go ahead and create a very quick PR to trigger that and push those changes, because the changes we made to the branch protection didn't make it. So that's fine. All right. So there should be a new PR. There it is. We're just going to merge this one right away because we just need those changes to trigger and kick off. While that runs, check our run. We got our Copilot review here. That's still going. I merged the PR and I still don't see the page build deployment running. And it says the last time the GitHub pages were deployed was 19 minutes ago, even though I just merged that new PR 5 seconds ago. So it only triggers when it goes to a certain branch or a certain directory, so we didn't have that directory. This one is safe to delete. We're going to delete that. And we're going to wait for it to create a new PR that actually touches on the actual path that it's supposed to hit. Now, I've been deleting the branches each time. You don't need to do that. It's going to try to clean up the remote branches now. There are none. It doesn't even have this branch, so it's going to need to make a new one for us in order to create the PR. And it has. There it is. View the status, merge the request, confirm the merge, delete the branch. And there we go. Let's check our actions. There we go. It's merging the pull request. Update and deploy is coming next. Let's see how it does. We are now back on our master branch. And it failed again. Look at that. We have failed another one. This is going to be your life for as long as you're using these tools. Your new job, your new existence is to copy and paste error codes back into the error code generator that is an AI. Okay. We need to go to settings. Let's go here. Settings, actions, general, workflow permissions. Allow GitHub to create and approve pull requests. Yes, save. Here we go. Update dashboard is working. And there we go. It's auto, it's updating. Looks good. PR was created, dashboard was deployed. We're going to merge this pull request. And now we should see, there it is. Let's see if this works. We have a new URL. Let's check it. There it is. Let's update this setting here. Even shorter, which is better. There's our index file. That's good. That's what we want to see. Now, why? Now we come back here. It seems to be creating a new PR constantly. There we go. And we've accidentally created a loop. The self-trigger guard only catches the bot pushes, but if you are merging the PRs, the commit is coming from you and the merge is coming from you, not the bot, so the guard doesn't fire. So we're going to change it so that the analysis, since it builds a slightly different output from each run, there's always a diff, even when nothing changes. We need to stop the loop, and we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, we're fixing the PR loop. We're going to merge it. Come back here. And now we should have, there we go. We're going to stop this, cancel that run. And this pull request is now being merged. All right, so when that's done, that should be built. All right, page has been rebuilt. It's still live. It works very nicely. We've got our graphics. Everything's looking good. We don't have an extra PR randomly. That's great. I think we can mark this as done. Automation means that you have staged pipelines, and each step has one job, and your failures are localized. You keep those failures in-house, you test, and then you test some more. You make sure you test on 5 examples before you have 5,000. Obviously, we always want to keep secrets out of our code. We want to do code review. We want to make sure that if something breaks, you paste the error back into Claude or Gemini or Codex. They should have the context to fix it or diagnose it at least. And if not, you add that context for it. You want to automate the volume, but you want to keep the human judgment in the loop. As you can see from these examples from earlier, that's how we do it. We describe a workflow in plain English. We have the agent build it and then break it. And we see how to fix it before it becomes too complex that neither of us can fix it. And then you just continue to iterate. So now it's your turn to build your own pipeline. You're going to choose a scenario, maybe council agendas, web scraping, batch documents, content roundup. You're going to describe it in plain English or in plain language to your agent, go back and forth with it, use plan mode to have it build the script or scripts, test it on one thing, then test it on more things, then break it on purpose, think about edge cases, then commit that working pipeline to your project repository, create the PR, maybe have Copilot review it, and test and repeat and repeat and repeat. And that's it. That's it. And we also threw in GitHub pages in there and GitHub actions. So we have everything. We have our full pipeline. We have our daily cron job. We've explored a few different ways you can do that. And now we have live website updates where all you're doing is you're making sure that you are checking for new content, that the scheduler is running properly, and that the outputs match what you expect and what you want. And in the meantime, as you continue to build, I will see you in the discussion forums.